Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
You ever get that feeling like you're playing a game, but you never got the rule book? And maybe, just maybe, the game is designed so you can't actually win. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the systems that are deliberately built to create that exact feeling of confusion. We're talking about everything from the anxiety you feel looking at your bank account to the phone that seems glued to your hand. Let's get into it. $100,000. For so long, this was it. This was the magic number, the sign that you'd finally made it, the ticket to a comfortable life. But let's be real for a sec. Why is it that even when people get there, that feeling of genuine security just evaporates? It feels like a mirage in the desert, and if you felt that, you're not going crazy. Turns out, it's not just a feeling. It's a reality. And it's been carefully calculated. Look, this feeling of being constantly squeezed, it isn't just you imagining things. We're talking about a level of systemic pressure that's hard to even wrap your head around. I mean, the typical mortgage payment has almost doubled since just 2020. Then you throw in health insurance for your family, that's over 25 grand a year on average. And if you have kids, childcare can eat up almost a quarter of your entire household income. These aren't wants, these are needs, and they're designed to eat up your money before you even get a chance to think about getting ahead. So this feeling, this constant treadmill you're on, it's not some random glitch in the system. This is where we need to start talking about the architects. Because all this confusion, economic, social, it's not an accident, it's a strategy. And here is the core principle. It's so simple, but it's incredibly effective. A confused mind is a compliant mind. Think about it. When you're overwhelmed, when you're buried in technical jargon you don't understand, when you're just trying to keep your head above water, you're not going to have the energy to question the system itself, are you? That complexity isn't an accident. It's a feature, not a bug. It's a tool of control. And this strategy has been around for a long, long time. Back in the 1920s, a guy named Edward Bernays literally wrote the book on engineering consent. He argued that an invisible government had to manipulate people for their own good. Fast forward to the 50s, you've got the CIA's Project MKUltra, which took things to a terrifying new level, testing how to literally break the human will. And today, the methods are just slicker. You see it in Fed speak or in those impossibly dense legal documents. It's language that's built to keep you out, to make you feel like you're not smart enough to have an opinion. They even give us what the source material calls linguistic lullabies. And that's exactly what they are. Think about phrases like, trust the process, or we're all in this together. They sound nice, right? But they're not really meant to inform you. They're meant to soothe you, to just shut down the critical part of your brain that should be asking, wait, what process? Or are we really all in this together? It's a trick, because our brains mistake things we hear over and over for the truth. It actually goes so deep that the language itself gets twisted. Freedom starts to mean your willingness to sacrifice. Choice, like when you're staring at that tipping screen, becomes less of a choice and more of a mandatory performance. And comfort, well, that becomes the little pat on the head you get for quiet obedience. You end up speaking the language of the system that's boxing you in. Okay, so that's the old playbook. Propaganda, confusing language, it worked. But it's been supercharged. Now we have to talk about the new architects of control. The ones that are automating this whole process and personalizing it, just for you. The modern weapon of control isn't a person in a smoke-filled room. It's an algorithm, and it's been weaponized. Not against some foreign enemy, but against your own mind. It's designed to study your impulses, to learn your weaknesses, and to know you better than you know yourself. So how does it get you? Well, it's basically a slot machine that you carry around in your pocket. The platforms use what's called a variable reward system. You pull the lever, you scroll, and you don't know what you're going to get. Maybe a funny cat video, maybe an article that makes you furious, maybe a picture from an old friend. That very unpredictability is what makes your brain release a little hit of dopamine. It feels good, so you start craving it. And before you know it, that scroll becomes a compulsion. You're not looking for anything specific anymore. You're just pulling the lever over and over, chasing that next little hit. And this whole ecosystem, it has a name.
surveillance capitalism. The logic is chillingly simple. Your own private experience, every single click, every like, every video you watch for more than 3 seconds, that's all raw material. And it's not being harvested to make your experience better. No, it's being used to build models that can predict what you'll do next. And those predictions? They're the product that gets sold to anyone who wants to influence your behavior.
So let's just be brutally honest here. The stated goal of these platforms might be to connect the world or inform you, but their actual operational goal is to addict you. That's it. In this world, your search for clarity becomes their carefully choreographed dance. Your desire for truth becomes their stage play. The only thing that matters, the only metric, is engagement. Not your well-being, not the truth, just keep you watching. So what happens when you combine that systemic economic confusion with this personalized algorithmic addiction? You get a system of control that is incredibly powerful. And it really makes you ask the question, are you living your own life, or are you just reading lines from a script that somebody else wrote for you?
I mean, think about it from their perspective. A satisfied person is a terrible customer. The entire system needs you to feel like something's missing. It thrives on creating a problem so it can sell you the fix. And that same logic applies directly to the world of politics. A population that's kept anxious and insecure and divided is so much easier to lead. A truly confident citizen asks tough questions. A confused one just looks for someone to save them. But here's the thing. Here is the key that unlocks the whole puzzle. The entire system, all of it, it only works if you don't see how it operates. Awareness is its kryptonite. The second you see the game for what it is, it gets a whole lot harder for them to play you.
And this is the ultimate move in their playbook. The real power isn't just in selling you the solution, it's in getting to define what your problem is in the first place. They tell you what's broken about you so they can sell you the fix. And as long as you're busy trying to fix all the little problems they've pointed out, your productivity, your mindset, your body, you're never going to look up and question the system that wrote the script. Which leaves us with one last thought. A big one. If you're living in a world that's been engineered to keep you confused, in a world where your attention is the product being sold and your compliance is the ultimate goal, what happens when you just stop playing? What happens when you decide to put the controller down and walk away from the game?